you guys, so after digging through Alphonse's legal cases, I found this in his county records. Now, I redacted some of the information because I do not desire to dox him or his wife, so I will keep his personal information private, but I will show enough information for you to be able to see that of what's all going on with his property, all right? So as you can see, his name's right here. That's already public, so I don't mind sharing that with you guys. But look at this. See here it says property type. Now look at that. It says taxable residential. Remember, guys, how he says he is not a taxpayer. Now, he also did not claim his personal residence to be a homestead. So if he would have considered it to be a homestead in a legitimate way, which is a legitimate thing you can do, you can get out of property taxes somewhat with that. So looks like he didn't do that. Okay, let's keep going down. Again, I blurred out a lot of the information because I'm not trying to dox him or the former owners of this property. Okay, so here we go. So county tax receivable. So now we're looking at the tax bill that he's delinquent on. All right, so let's scroll down here. It's going all the way back to 2020. Delinquent tax, all years combined. All right, so yeah, now you can see that they're summing it up here. Wow, so, and then other fees, $158. So in total, almost $15,000. Let's keep scrolling down. Now this excludes trash and sewer and other local fees. I know he was fighting the sewer thing for a while. And he's trying to say that I'm not a taxpayer. And we'll later go through, well, dude, you are using all the privileges that come with that, the city water, like all that stuff, while at the same time saying you're not a taxpayer, right? So if we keep scrolling down, now it says tax sale information. Oh, what's this about? And then the status says listed for upset sale. Wow. Well, I'm telling you, this is definitely making somebody upset. Look, if you guys don't know what an upset sale means, in Pennsylvania, this means that the county is going to list his house for auction for the highest bidder to buy. And when I pull up the upset sales info in his county, it looks like the upset price sale is starting in September 19th of this year. All right, so that's coming up in a few months. Registration is limited to the first 120 bidders and will close once 120 bidders are registered. Interesting. All right, so I pulled this up online, and I highly encourage you guys to look at this yourselves, all right? But I highlighted and we'll sum it up for you. So as we can see here, this is Alphonse versus his township, all right? Okay, July 29th, 2021, the request was filed stating, provide the required business license and or franchise license the persons doing business as the Township of Ashton possess and rely on to charge business privilege and mercantile taxes to either requester and or his property, known as, and that's his address, which I redacted, in Ashton, Pennsylvania. All right, so down here we can read, the request begins by notifying the township that a contractor collecting taxes for the township filed a municipal claim against the requester, which he claims was in error for various reasons. The request demands that the township remove his property from the tax roll. Oh, he got that from Mr. Steve Emerson, didn't he? Because supposedly Steve Emerson brags that he knows how to get your property taxes off the tax roll. If you guys don't know what tax roll means, that just means all the properties listed in the county that are taxable, like we saw in Alphonse's county records. Or in the alternative, fulfill his RTKL request. Okay, so this is Alphonse's demands that he filed. Provide a record containing a list of the business privileges and mercantile services that are being conducted at his address. Look, so that is Steve Emerson's main argument. Well, look, this property is not being used for commercial purposes, so therefore you can't tax me. And guys, we'll later go through that whole thing he fabricated, all right? That's not how this works. Provide a record of any contract, agreement between the requester and the persons doing business as the Township of Ashton, which evidences that there is a contract with the township to administer his property, known as and his address again. All right, so it keeps going. All right, so basically his main argument is, hey, I'm not doing commerce on my property. I'm not a business, blah, blah, blah. I'm not taxable. Provide a copy of the insurance policy responsible for indemnifying the Township of Aston, which is pretty easy for them to pull up, right? For the actions taken by Pearson Hughes. Okay, sounds like the law firm that they use. And I remember him saying, well, because they use a law firm, this is all illegal. On behalf of the persons doing business as the Township of Aston. All right, so he keeps going with this. Neither the municipality nor their law firm possesses judicial power or authority to execute and sign liens of their own accord, but yet they did just do it, right? All right. The township largely denied the request, arguing that no responsive records exist, but did answer the questions posed in items 1 and 4 of the request, and provided the insurance policy responsive to item 6 of the request. Remember, he was asking, well, where's your insurance to indemnify you? The township has sued him for mercantile and business privileges taxes, and that the township is acting illegally in various ways. Okay, so that's his claim, right? The township submitted a position statement arguing that most of the requests to seek legal opinion rather than documents, but that the township has no responsive documents as it never assessed business privilege or mercantile taxes against the requester, right? Of course not. The township also provided a copy of his general liability coverage policy for 2020. All right. So, of course, they don't have records of assessing business privilege. No, he owns his property in his name, the straw man, right? Even though they say that's the natural person, which is sovereign. All right, so let's keep going. By the way, if you own your real estate in your name, and you don't have equity stripping in place, well, you have no asset protection, you have no lawsuit protection, and if something happens to you, your stuff is going to go to the probate, meaning that it's going to go to the government. And then after they sink their teeth into it, then they'll decide to give a piece of it to your family after they tax it and all this stuff, right? Years of waiting. The documents submitted by the requester show a municipal claim made against him, which the receiver contends must be mercantile and business privilege tax because those are only taxes the township can levy. The appeal does not challenge the township's responses to items 2, 3, 5, or 6 of the request. Therefore, those issues are waived, and the OOR will not address them on appeal. Right, so this stage of the case is him trying to appeal all of this that already happened, right? The tax lien, all of that. So let's keep scrolling down. The township argues that no additional records responsive to the request exist. In support of this argument, the township submitted the affidavit of Miss Pippin, who attests that, and here she goes just saying, yes, I work for the township. Yes, I do this. I am an open records officer. Okay. So, right, the township argues that no additional records responsive to their request exist. Of course they don't. And Alphonse is going to say, well, look, that's the victory right there. Look, they just admitted it. After conducting a good faith search of the township's files and inquiring with relevant township personnel, I identified all records within the township's possession, custody, or control that are responsive to the request and provided them to the requester, right? In the absence of any competent evidence that the township acted in bad faith or that the records do exist, the averments in the affidavit should be accepted as true. The thrust of the requester's argument in this case is not that the business tax records sought do exist, but instead that the property taxes assessed by the township are illegal. Oh, so now he's trying to say the property taxes assessed by the township are illegal. All right. Interesting spin on that. The township has submitted evidence showing that it conducted a search for real estate taxes associated with the requester's properties and provided the records which it possesses. The requester did not present any evidence contradicting the township's evidence, and his argument that the township has misapplied the law is not evidence that additional records do in fact exist. All right, guys, so here's the conclusion. For the foregoing reasons, the requester's appeal is denied, and the township is not required to take any further action. This final determination is binding on all parties. Final determination issued and mailed. All right, guys. So I'm going through the case he filed. So Alphonse versus County of Delaware. All right. And you guys can look this up. Here's the case number. This was last year in 2023. Now, I find it funny because in a past video where I was highlighting a guru of KL in a court case, he used the same cause of action, civil rights violation, 42 USC and Civil Rights Act. Guys, this is not a proper cause of action, and this has nothing to do with civil rights. And if you think civil rights and claiming this as a cause of action is a remedy, well, as we've seen twice now on this show, it does not work, folks. All right, so we can start from the beginning, but let's just go to the final filing here, okay? So, as we can see, Alphonse just keeps filing things. He demanded a trial by jury. A complaint against Susan Brockett, County of Delaware. Okay, so that's a worker at the tax bureau. Look, I'm sure these tax bureau people are horrible people. I'm not sure what type of person would be attracted to work at some sort of thing. But at the same time, if you're going to go against these people, you better come correct, right? All right, so let's see if he does. Filing 6, summons return executed by Alphonse. Oh, we got Brett Fountain here. Isn't this Patriot Brett or whatever he calls himself? I know he doesn't like to show his last name, but here it is. And these two are supposedly the best at court procedure, right? First motion to dismiss for lack of jurisdiction pursuant. Okay, so this was filed. So then they just keep filing responses to dismiss. And then the other side files motion to dismiss. And just keeps going and going and going. Well, guys, as you can see, I don't think it ended well. Okay. Look, we have the upset sale listed here. It's going up for sale to the highest bidder here coming up in September of this year. So keep an eye out on that.